Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Also, gonna really sorry about all the technical difficulties there. Say no more about it. Yeah, just a second. Oh my god. Yeah, so okay. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Also, let me just play this here. Really sorry about starting late there. Incredible technical difficulties all over the place. Incredible. That was a nightmare. Alright. Sorry for starting 20 minutes late, guys. Like I said, welcome along to my YouTube channel, also Gunner. Welcome along to my live stream. How you all getting on out there? I hope you're keeping well. Basically, what happened is we got a new internet thing there, and it wasn't working. Don't ask me why, because I had my laptop and everything set up right next to the Wi-Fi box, so I'm seriously pissed off about that now. But anyway, that's life, guys. Let's get straight into it. What a weekend for Arsenal, guys. Pretty disappointing when it came down to the game, to be honest. We were maybe lucky to escape. We were maybe actually lucky to escape with the draw, because they were much better than us on the day. It was a tough game against Brighton, a really hard game. But we got into it, guys, and we got back into it. We managed to get something out of the game, thank God. But like I said, it was a tough match. 0-0 at the end. We didn't score. Now we still find ourselves down in place on 10 points. We have a 2-week break now. There's an international break. Luckily, our defensive partnership of Ben White and Gabriel, they're not actually going to be going to the international scene. So they'll be staying with the club. So things won't be too bad for us along that score. But you'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, that's the way it's kind of going at the moment. Just a second, guys. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Yeah. So I had a few technical difficulties there. Luckily, it's been sorted out a little bit. How you all getting on out there? Welcome along. Warren, how you getting on out there? Yeah, I had exactly the same thing. WhatsApp wasn't working for me, but nothing was working on my end over here in Venezuela. The Wi-Fi wasn't working. Nothing was working at all. So it was a bit of a disaster, to be honest. But I'm after getting up and running. 20 minutes late. I apologize for that. Let me just see here. I'm just going to connect onto my phone. Let me get on with it. All right. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. I'm going to start by shouting out all the YouTubers. Yeah, Warren, I'm good. But the internet fell apart there for 20 minutes, even though we got a new box, everything new 2 weeks ago. When I needed it, when I had everything scheduled, it fell apart. But anyway, keep watching for me anyway. Give me some watch time. That's the main thing. All right. I'm going to start, guys. We're just giving a shout out to all the YouTubers out there. Mention a couple of the channels. Goonercast. He's a South African Arsenal YouTuber. Check out his channel, Goonercast. Next one is the Three Pointers TV. Check out their channel. A very good channel. I subscribed myself. One day we're going to do a collab, I'm sure. But check that out. It's beyond frustrating, Warren. I mean, I don't want to talk about it anymore because, I'm Irish and we're volatile. It's beyond frustrating. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk football. Drawn by Dre. Yeah, check out his channel, guys. He does a possession-based podcast once a week with a friend of his. Something what I had guessed on. So check out his channel, Drawn by Dre. Arsenal Alex. Check out his YouTube channel too. A very good YouTube channel. Yeah, he guessed it on my channel, so check out his channel. And last but not least, the man that I'm just talking to here now. I'm not going to post his comments because they're not about football at the moment. But Warren at Warren's Team Talk. Check out his channel, Warren's Team Talk. He does many different videos. Soon we're going to be collaborating and we're going to be doing watch-alongs together. We're going to kick things on a little further. But yeah, that's about the size of it, guys. First thing I'm going to talk about is, of course, the result at the weekend away to Brighton. 0-0. We at least got something out of the game. It was a very tough game for the team, especially after the game we played against Spurs. We got kind of lulled into a false sense of security. Spurs aren't on form at the moment, plain and simple. But we got stuck into the game. After 15 minutes, Brighton took control. The win we had against Spurs, I mean, that kind of made people think maybe it overhyped the team a little bit. They were hyping up the team too much. After that, we're after coming down to earth. Maybe that's not a bad thing. The squad, the team, Arteta, completely down to earth now. We could have lost the game if it wasn't for the defence and for Ramsdale and for a large slice of luck. We would have lost the game, without a doubt about it. But let me know what you thought about the game, Warren. I see there's another person watching as well. Let me know what you thought about the match. It was a tough game. It was a hard game. And to come away with a point, it's not too bad. It was okay for us. We've had a big boost in the international news with the club, guys. Ben White and Gabriel have not been picked for international duty by England and Brazil, respectively. So that's a boost for the club. They can remain in London. They can remain training with the team. And we can prepare for our next 2 league matches, which are both at home. The first game in 2 weeks' time, like I said, there's an international break. So in 2 weeks' time, we play Crystal Palace at the Emirates. After that, we play Aston Villa at the Emirates. Simple as that. Now we can prepare for those games. We have those 2 players, our first pick defenders. It means they're not going to get injured on international duty, and hopefully they won't be injured in training. But like I said, guys, the weekend, the match there, very, very disappointing game. Say no more about it. Those 2 players, they come out with a little bit of credit for me, but everybody else, yeah, it is what it is. Our defender, Tomiyasu, he has come out and said that he was not happy with the draw. Yeah, doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I mean, who would be happy about that? It was a very, very bad result. It was tough on the team. We couldn't really get into it. Of course, he's not happy. I mean, when you consider that to the Spurs game, we really, really got in. We got turned over. Simple as that. Of course, he's not happy. He's been a ray of light for the club so far since he came. But last year against Brighton was not his best moment. It wasn't his best 90 minutes of football. But he'll be back. He'll bounce back. The Brighton press was probably not what Arsenal were expecting. They probably knew it was going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to say Arteta's an idiot, but the way Brighton brought it to bear on the game, their press was very, very hard to get. There was nowhere to go. After 15 minutes, they took over. As soon as they got a couple of chances, they grew in confidence. If they had won the game before the Arsenal game, they would have been top of the league. So if they had beaten Crystal Palace, their game before the Arsenal game, they would have actually been top of the league. So Brighton are going well. I think they're in 4th or 6th now, 6th I think. But they're going very well. I think they've got 14 points. A lot of teams on 14 points there. A win there now and they could be back up the top again. I mean, it's as simple as that. But let's talk about that game. I'm going to give a few player ratings. I'm going to talk about the Brighton game. Brighton Arsenal. We really got lulled into a false sense of security, guys, against them. After the Spurs match, we thought that everything was going to be rosy in the garden and things were going to be very good for us. It completely fell apart against Brighton. We were lucky not to lose the game. If they had Ibasuma, I think we would have lost the game without a doubt. People saying that Granit Xhaka might have made a difference. I don't rate Xhaka at all as a player, high up or low down, and I don't think he has any place at the club. I wouldn't take him. I want to keep him on me. I think we should just move him on, get rid of him. But a lot of people out there, they rate him. I'm not one of those people. don't want to get involved in that, and I'm going to try to keep it strictly about what happened in the game. But we do need a DM. We don't need a defensive midfielder, I think, because there was a lot of traffic coming through the midfield, and we couldn't really get a grip, and we couldn't really hold on to what was going on. It was tough for us. We couldn't really kind of respond. Substitutions were made a bit too late. Aubameyang, he had an awful game, a terrible game. Odegaard never got into the game. He didn't contribute in any way, shape, or form. Saka tried. I mean, he tried hard to get into the game. He tried hard to push. It wasn't meant to be. Like I said, the Brighton press was very, very powerful. We couldn't really do anything about it. Moving me on to the next point. I don't know what Warren thinks about this. Maybe he'd like to comment in the comment section. But is a fourth place finish possible? That is the question. I'm going to put a comment up there. It's the one comment I got so far relating to football. There we go. Hey James, how are you getting on? Sorry for the late start. I was delayed by 20 minutes. The whole internet here where I am. I'm actually in Venezuela in South America. Even though I brought a new modem and a whole new connection, everything, the whole thing collapsed 10 minutes before I was meant to go live at 1 o'clock. So I apologize, guys. That's what it's like living in Venezuela at the moment. Tough times. All right, let's get to the comment. Hail Skull Gunner. I thought Brighton were very wasteful with the chances they had against you guys, and midfield was completely overrun. Yeah, I checked out Warren's stream. I saw you said the same comment. I agree with you 100%, James. Absolutely. We were very, very lucky to get away with the draw. Maybe the team would have learned more if we actually lost. Maybe Arteta would have learned more. I don't know why you went into the game like we did. I think the formation and the lineup was good, but we had to really fight hard in the game, and there was a lack of that. I mean, we have no defensive midfielder. I mean, the two guys in the middle, Partey and Sambi Lokonga, they like to go forward, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there was a lot of traffic coming through the midfielder, and Brighton had us. After 15 minutes, they got on top, and they stayed on top right till the end of the game. 15 minutes, they got on top. And for the next 75 minutes, they had us on a rack. How they didn't score a combination of the defence, Ramsdale, and poor finishing from Brighton. We were very, very lucky to get away with that game. Now, luckily, there is a break, a 2-week break for the internationals, so we can get ourselves together again. Like I said, Gabriel and Ben White, they're not going on international duty with Brazil and England respectively, so we can have those players there. Simple as that. We can be training and getting ready for our next 2 home games. We have Palace at the Emirates, and then we have Villa. We play the Villains. So hopefully we can do something against them. Villa are close enough in the league to us. So hopefully we can do something against them. We can leapfrog them a little bit. Catch up on Spurs. We really need to get back into Europe this season. That's going to bring me on to the next point. Who thinks a 4th place finish is possible? I just got a message there from Warren. Sorry to hear that, Warren. I hope everything's okay. I'm not going to post it because, but I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything's okay. Let me know. All right. And James, thank you for understanding. Yeah, I mean, I know what was going on there. I had lost it up for 1 p.m. launch, and then it just fell apart on me. But yeah, that's life, huh? Let's get on with it. So I'm going to talk about the 4th place finish. How many of you out there think Arsenal can actually get into 4th this season under Mikel Arteta? I've made no bones of it, guys. It's no secret. I don't hide the fact I'm Mikel Arteta out. I don't want to dwell on that too much now. Get into politics with a couple of fans. But I'm Mikel Arteta out. I'm not one of the Arteta fanboys. I know James probably remembers when he played at Everton. Of course, then Arteta went from Everton to Arsenal. I'm not a fan of his. He was a crap player. He's a worse manager, in my opinion. At Arsenal, I don't know what he was like at Everton. I'll be honest with you, James, I didn't pay much attention to it. But at Arsenal, he wasn't at the races as a player. He's a worse manager. I'm 100% Mikel Arteta out. I just think that in fairness to players like Smith-Rowe, Saka, the younger players at the club, Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, Tierney, I just think in respects to them, the talent they have should not go to waste, even for a couple of months under Mikel Arteta's manager, even this season, last season. If we had a better manager in place, for example, Antonio Conte, I know that's never going to happen, but for example, we'll say Conte because we were linked to him recently. He could take the team much further than Mikel Arteta ever will. We should have one aim at the start of the season: win the league. Simple as that. That's the aim. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. But Conte would bring us much closer, much more successful. He's a better manager and he would get much more out of the players at his disposal than Mikel Arteta ever will. And that is my honest to God opinion. I'm not in personal against Mikel Arteta. That's how I see things. Simple as that. So 4th place finish. Our aim this season is to get back into European football. It's as simple as that. We tried to get Manuel Locatelli from Sassuolo. He signed for Juventus. That's cool. You know what I mean? But I'm just going to talk about this comment from James. Arteta was a class player with us, but he wasn't an upgrade to you guys when you signed him. As a manager, he should have started some of the smaller Arsenal to build up his reputation. Exactly. I mean, if you look at Mikel Arteta's CV, what actually has he done? Okay, he won us a couple of FA Cups. He's been assistant to Pep at Manchester City. But Pep was the coach, Guardiola was the coach, Arteta was the assistant. How much input he actually put into things, Pep Guardiola's experience shone through, and he was the man making the decisions. I mean, we could all be assistant manager to Pep Guardiola or Alex Ferguson. It's not going to do much for us at the end of the day, or Arsene Wenger, because they were the guys that were making it happen. Yeah, for Arsenal, he didn't do the business as a player, as a manager. I would just like to see the players we have at the club fulfill their potential with a manager that can actually do the business. A better manager. It's as simple as that. I'm 100% making Arteta out. I'm going to move on from that now. This season, we have to qualify for Europe. Like I said, we went for a striker. We badly need a new striker. We went for Locatelli in pre-season. He was at Sassuolo. Now Manuel Locatelli is at Juve. So he's playing for Juventus, the old lady of Italian football. We could have got him if we had European football, in my opinion, but it would have to be Champions League. If we were in the Champions League, we could have got him. Now that goes back to the last couple of seasons under Arteta. It's because of that bad form, it has a knock-on effect. No European football, no club, no good player wants to come to a club that can't guarantee Champions League football. It's as simple as that. Okay, he also wanted to stay in Italy. He also wanted, because of his international career with the Italian national side, it was better for him to go for an Italian club. But I guarantee you, if we had Champions League football, if we made a right bid, he might have come. We need a striker. So again, it's a knock-on effect from Arteta and his management. The process, or the project as it's been called now. I think it's gone to a 10-year thing. If we had been successful, last season, like success breeds success. No European football, no Champions League. It's not going to do much for us, And now we have to get back into Europe this season. It's as simple as that. That is our one aim. I think we have a slight chance. I mean, there are a lot of strong sides in there. Your own club, Everton, James, are going well. United are going well. Liverpool, well, they're going better than Arsenal. Liverpool are going well. City are going well. Chelsea are, say no more about it. We need to get back into Europe. I mean, Leicester City, Crystal Palace, Brighton. It's going to be very, very hard for us to get back into the top 5, top 6. It's going to be very, very hard for us to qualify. I think Mikel Arteta knows that. But like I said, a better manager with the players at his disposal, he could do a lot more than Arteta, and he could actually push us on. It's like we're wasting time. It's like we're stuck in limbo. And that's my opinion on it. Can we finish in the European places? Can we get back into 4th place? Very hard to say. Just a shout out to Warren there. I hope everything's okay. Let me know anyway. Write it here if your WhatsApp's not working. Just so I know that you're all right, Warren, and everything's cool. I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to talk about Bernd Leno. Supposedly, he could be leaving the club in January. It is definitely going to be hard for him. Definitely going to be hard for Bernd Leno because of the form of Ramsdale. I've just been joined there by Drawn by Dre. I gave a shout out to your YouTube channel at the start of my broadcast, Dre. Now, actually, I'm going to take an opportunity to shout out James Dunlop's channel. I subscribed to it at the weekend, and all the channels, there was a lot of channels linked to his. First time I've seen that on YouTube, there was a lot of links with a lot of Everton channels, all with Everton songs. So I subscribed to all of them, to be honest, to support the guys. I sent the messages. But yeah, I shouted out your channel at the start of the show, Dre. And I'm going to shout out James Dunlop's now. Check out James Dunlop's YouTube channel, guys. It's an Everton YouTube channel. Do yourselves a favour. Some very good songs in there about Everton Football Club. I found them quite interesting and I enjoyed it, to be honest. I'm not an Everton fan, of course, needless to say, but it was very interesting, Classics. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Hey, Dre, how are you getting on, man? How are things? Had a little mishap there at 1 p.m. I was meant to go live. Bought a new internet modem, the whole lot, and it didn't work. So it's been working for like 2 weeks, and today then topped it up, credit, the whole lot, thing didn't work. These things happen, huh? But thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the show. I'm just going to get in and talk about the other topics. All right, let's get into it. Bernd Leno. We all know that Aaron Ramsdale has made number one position at the club his own. That goes without saying. Fantastic, fantastic goalkeeper. I couldn't be more impressed than I am at the moment with Aaron Ramsdale. He earned my respect and my admiration, and that many people in life have done that. His performances, incredible. What a goalkeeper. We found ourselves a real goalkeeper, guys. When you're thinking pre-season, people like Aaron Ramsdale, Sheffield United, he got relegated twice with two different clubs. I mean to say, he is a serious goalkeeper. I'm going to go back onto that right now. Just post a comment from James. Let's get that up there. I just like to say rest in peace to Chig, by the way. A top Arsenal fan, lovely guy. He would be missed. Yeah. Sad news about him, I mean, I think you summed it up there, really, to be honest. Lee Gunner, he's absolutely gutted at the moment. The two of them are very close, and Chig was always kind of there and had his back. And now, that's life for you guys, you know what I mean? One day to the next, these things happen, unfortunately. The poor guy. I mean, rest in peace, Chig, and now he can have a beer with he can have a beer with the main man Claude up in heaven, two of them together. But yeah, bad news for anyone associated with Arsenal YouTubers, Arsenal Football Club. Rest in peace, Chig. You won't be forgotten, I guarantee it. Sad news, guys. Sad news. Anyway, let's bring it up on a lighter note a little bit if we can. Of course, today is the birthday. Happy birthday to the one and only Thomas Rosicky. Happy birthday, Thomas. Great player. Fantastic player. Of course, he played for the Czech team, Czech international, was successful in Arsenal. Definitely, easily one of the best midfielders we ever had. I mean, technically gifted. Czech players are very good on the ball technically. He was one of the best they have. Man, fantastic. Happy birthday, Thomas Rosicky. Who remembers him, guys? A fantastic player. Very hard to forget a guy like that. I'm going to jump back in about Leno now. Aaron Ramsdale has made the number one spot at the club his own. Leno, for me, is out of the reckoning. I think it's going to be very hard for him to get his place back, unless, touch wood, guys, touch wood that it won't happen, unless Aaron Ramsdale gets injured. Every facet of Ramsdale's game is light years ahead of Bernd Leno's. His ball distribution, his passing, his reaction saves, his reading of the game, his communication with the back four. They've built a real partnership and a friendship and a camaraderie there that's going to get them through tough games. There's a real bond developing there between the goalie and the back four, the team in general. He's a real team player, Ramsdale. He has a very good attitude to the game. And to be honest, we're not missing Bernd Leno in one bit. Reports are that he's going to be sold in the January transfer window to Juventus. Think what you will of that, guys. I mean, you think it's going to happen? Very hard to say. Drawn by Dre, what do you think is going to happen? And do you think we can finish in fourth place this season? Can we hit top four? Can Arteta guide us to top four? I don't think there's a chance of that happening. I'm going to speak honestly. That is a real, I mean, that's going to be tough. Where they're coming from James there, guys. Your defense seems more comfortable with him in goal, and he's not afraid to shout out at them. Yeah, there's communication there. He's not afraid to shout out at them. He keeps them on their toes. He's very good at ball distribution, and he's very cool under pressure. He'll take the high cross when he's not being fouled, of course. He'll take the high cross. He'll get the shot away. He'll save the shots. He's very good distribution. He's very good on the ball. He's a class goalkeeper. I think a lot of him. I rate him very highly. I'm delighted the club bought him. They paid a bit of money for him. They were criticised for it, but who's laughing now? Bernd Leno definitely isn't laughing. I don't think he's going to get his place back. I think it's going to be very, very hard for him to get back into the team. It's as simple as that. We'll have to see what happens, guys. We'll have to see the way it goes. I think it's going to be hard for him though. It's going to be very tough to get back in. I'm going to talk about the next two games that we face. The first game, of course, is an international break, but in 2 weeks we're playing Crystal Palace at the Emirates. Of course, they're managed by our former player, Arsenal legend Patrick Vieira. They've been going very well recently. I can see that being a tough game. Everything is a tough game at the moment because Mikel Arteta, the way things are looking. We had a real shot in the arm, a real boost against Spurs. We need to maybe capitalise and build on that. The last day out against Brighton was a very hard game. There's going to be games like that. But back at the Emirates, we can make it pay. I think we can beat Palace at the Emirates. And I would stick with the 4-2-3-1 and I would stick with the exact same team. Villa, I think that's going to be a very, very hard game. I mean, Spurs beat them 2-1, I think it was yesterday. That was quite a difficult game for Spurs. I think Villa are a handful, and with Ollie Watkins, he loves playing against Arsenal. I mean, that guy is a real handful. We'll have to see the way that goes, but they're definitely going to be two very tough games, in my opinion. It's as simple as that. Back to what James's point here, the defence is definitely much more comfortable with Ramsdale in goal. Like I said, his ball distribution, he's calm, and he rallies the players. And there's a real camaraderie developing there. There's a real good spirit developing in the team. And credit to the likes of Tomiyasu, credit to Ramsdale, credit to Ben White. The partnership with Ben White and Gabriel is a very good one, in my opinion. But we should have no excuses, guys, going into the next two games. We've got a 2-week break. Internationals are taking place. Ben White and Gabriel are not going with their respective teams. So we're going to have them. Defensive partnership, they can put into training. They can get more comfortable. They can, things are going to be looking good. There'll be no issues going forward into the Crystal Palace game. Another commentary coming up from James. Just want to thank him anyway for tuning in. You're the only one at the moment, James. I'm going to be honest about it. But normally I have 4 or 5 people tuning in, but it might pick up a little bit later. I had Dre for a while there. I know Warren's got his own business going on there now, so everything's will be okay. James, should be a decent game. That against Palace with Vieira returning. Yeah. I have in my mind, to be honest, James, I don't know about you. I know you're an Everton fan, but I have in my mind, I honestly think that Patrick Vieira, he's worth a shout at Arsenal as coach. I would replace Mikel Arteta with Patrick Vieira in a heartbeat, no doubt about it. Vieira was over in New York with New York City FC, getting a lot of experience there. I would definitely take him back. As manager, 100%. Over Mikel Arteta, without a doubt. With all due respect to Mikel Arteta, I rate Vieira very highly. And I think he's done well with the team so far up to this point. I mean, there's no shame, no embarrassment. I think it's really good. I think it should be a decent game against Palace, with Vieira returning, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I mean, if they beat us, it would not be a laughing matter anyway, that's for sure. I mean, we need to get something out of that game. The game against Villa after, we need to get something out of that game too. Our start to the season was just, we were down in 28th place. We were rock bottom. I know you know that, James. We lost the first 3 games of the season. That really set a bad tone, a bad precedent. Okay, we won the next 3, and now we've drawn. But those 3 losses did a lot of damage to the confidence and the psyche of the team, the form of the team. Getting it back slowly, those 3 wins helped. That massive win over Spurs. Last day out wasn't the best, but it's a hard place to go, right? And we'll have better days than that. We have the players, the formation is okay. The players are good. We have a top goalkeeper. The defense is better. Midfield is okay. We do need a DM and we need a striker, without a doubt. Aubameyang had an absolute nightmare against Brighton, in fairness. He didn't get a kick. He did nothing. So we do need a striker and we do need a defensive midfielder. Like I said, Partey and Lokonga are good. I rate them very highly. I don't rate Granit Xhaka at all. I think they're head and shoulders above him. And it's a good thing that he's injured for the 3 months. I'm delighted. Not that he's injured, that he's not going to be playing for the club. I want to wish injury on anybody, but I'm happy he's not going to be playing for the club. I don't rate him at all. I'm not going to sit on the fence in it. Same with Mikel Arteta. If him and Arteta left tomorrow, I'll be cracking them open the champagne, guys. Trust me. I'll be having a couple of whiskies. Stapes is here. Thanks for tuning in, Stapes. I was meant to start at 1 p.m. Sorry about that. Internet crashed completely. Complete wipeout in Venezuela. So that was pretty frustrating for me. I'm just calming down a little bit now because I had it all gunning for 1 p.m. And then I got the stuff knocked out of me. But I'm back at it again. Can be frustrating as a YouTuber, guys, no doubt about it. We've got to make the home ground. Yeah, we got to make the Emirates a fortress again. Remember Highbury days? I know you remember that, Dave. So you're like me. You know what I mean? School. Back in the day, man, at Highbury, teams were afraid to come there, and it didn't matter who the team was. They would get mugged off a lot of the time. Even the great United teams and the Liverpool teams like Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler, they used to have real battle on their hands coming to Highbury. You know, the fans were extremely close to the pitch. It was a tight stadium. The Emirates is much bigger. I've been to the Emirates, of course, to see games a couple of times. The atmosphere doesn't match Highbury, of course, because it was very much tighter and closer. But we do need to make the Emirates a fortress again. The Spurs win, I think, sent out a couple of shockwaves to people. It's not going to be a duck walk. It's not going to be a walkover like it has been in the past. You're going to come to the Emirates. It's going to be a tough game. But we battled Spurs in that game. And that one was lacking against Brighton. I couldn't understand it. The team setup, the team selection, I agreed with everything. But we didn't battle them. We got battered. After 15 minutes, Brighton took control. But they're a good team, don't get me wrong. Like I keep saying, their second last game, so the game before the Arsenal game, they played Palace. It was a 1-1 draw. Mopai scored in the 95th minute, got them a point. If they had won that game, they would have been top. That's how Brighton are doing. So people underestimate, I think, how good Brighton actually are. They're a very good team. They lack a bit of end product. Like against us, they couldn't quite score. They couldn't make it pay. If they sorted out that problem, if they got a better forward line, I'm telling you guys, they could go a long way. Maybe win the league, maybe do a Leicester on it. This Brighton team is a serious team. Teams underestimating them. You go to the Amex Stadium, it was a tough game. They took over after 15 minutes. I was watching your watch-along tapes. I was watching the 3-pointers. I don't know what you're watching the very start of this video, but I shouted out all the Arsenal YouTubers that I know that are in our WhatsApp group. I'm going to shout out your channel again now. Stapes22, guys. There's 2 friends of his. It's an Arsenal YouTube channel. It's 3-pointers TV. So check it out. Do this as a favor. They've started out doing a lot of watch-alongs. They do analysis. They do previews, reviews. They have very good intros and editing. I've said it before. One of the best I've seen. I don't know who's doing it for them, but the editing is absolutely top-notch. It's fantastic. Simple as that. So big up to the 3-pointers TV. Like their channel. Subscribe to their channel. Do yourselves a favor. It's a good channel. Check it out. Very entertaining watch-alongs, I have to say. They're 3 entertaining guys. They're old school. They know their football. All right, another comment from James Dunlop. Thanks again for tuning in, James. I appreciate it. You need to show more consistent performances, not just the results. You were brilliant against Spurs, but you always never seem to build on that from that game on a performance. Like, yeah, exactly. We're inconsistent. Simple as that. Why though? I don't know. Because with the quality we have out there, we should make it pay. The one thing I don't like about Arsenal is, like, I hate to compare them now to rivals, but the one thing, well, they're not rivals, they're miles above us. But the one thing I don't like is that, like, United, I'm not going to say Liverpool or Chelsea or City, because for me these 3 teams are much better than Man United. Liverpool, City, and Chelsea are light years ahead of United. But I'm going to just say United compared to Arsenal. Okay, they have a better team this year than us, but like the last couple of seasons, what I don't like about Arsenal is we don't make, like Stave said, we need to make the home stadium, the Emirates, a fortress again. We don't do that. United have had their problems down through the years, the last couple of years, and the teams have been mediocre. But one thing they do is they put the opposition under immense pressure at Old Trafford. Immense pressure. And that's something we don't do. Even if we're lacking a bit of quality, we don't turn the screw. We don't increase the pressure on them, and we don't cause them to make mistakes. If they make mistakes, you're in. If they make a mistake in the midfield or the defence, we can hit them quick on a counter. You know what I mean? We don't force the mistakes. Whereas United, even though they had a very limited team the last couple of years, now it's better. But before that, they really put teams under a lot of pressure, and that didn't happen with us at all. So I just can't understand that. I mean, we need to get that in order. We need to take advantage of the home advantage, and we need to get some goals. We need to score. We do need a DM, in my opinion, and we do need a striker. I don't know what Steve thinks about that. The 2 guys in the midfield at the weekend, they're 2 good players. I rate them highly. I have respect for them. But they like to go forward. Brighton really had a field day in the midfield. They really, really took us apart. We should have lost that game. We were on the rack. Like I said, after 15 minutes, they got the confidence up. They got a couple of half chances, and they progressed from there. They really had us under the cosh. The fact that we escaped was due to the defence, was due to the goalie, and was due to downright luck. We were very lucky on a few occasions there. They really, really should have put it to bed, Brighton. They had us on the rack. But at the Emirates now, we have 2 home games coming up. There's an international break now. And like I said, Ben White and Gabriel are not going on international duty with their respective countries, Brazil and England. So we have them. They can take part in training, and we can prepare for those 2 home games. We need to hit the ground running like we did against Spurs. We need to exploit them from the very first moment. I honestly think the Palace and the Villa game are going to be much harder than the Spurs game. The Spurs weren't going through the best of form, and I'm not taking away from the Arsenal performance. It was a great first half performance. We blew them off the field. But definitely Palace and Villa are going to be much more disciplined and much tougher proposition than that. So we need every advantage going our way going into that game. Training needs to be right. Team selection. You name it, it needs to be right. The formation. It needs to be the 4-2-3-1. Yeah. Exactly, Staves. That's what I've been hearing a lot. We would have won if Xhaka played. He couldn't win an argument, man. Xhaka, man. Obviously, you meant that humorously, and I appreciate that, but it's funny the way people think about Xhaka, man. I lived in Switzerland for 10 years, I lived in Switzerland for 10 years. I was living in Zurich. And of course, his brother plays for FC Basel, and Taulant Xhaka. So you've got Granit at Arsenal, you've got Taulant Xhaka for FC Basel. That's Granit Xhaka's level. FC Basel, Swiss League. And there's nothing wrong with that. Swiss League is professional. You know what I mean? But that's his level. In Switzerland, of course, he's the captain of the national side, the Swiss national team. They think Granit Xhaka is Pele. I know you're joking, Steps. Obviously, I mean, I know you're joking. Good sense of humor anyway. But Granit Xhaka, man, in Switzerland, because he's the Swiss captain, they think he is Marco van Basten. They think he's Frank Rijkaard. You know what I mean? They're convinced. They think the man is one of the best players that ever lived. I think he's crap. You know what I mean? A nothing player. So, I thought Sambi had a good. I'm just going to put this up there from Stapes. Like I said, guys, check out his channel. He's got a channel with 2 of his friends. 3 Pointers TV. The 3 Pointers TV. Check it out. They're doing watch-alongs, match previews, match reviews. I don't want to say it again, but the intros and the editing that they have, it's top-notch. Best I've seen. You know what I mean? Very, very good. I've been well impressed with it. Almost up there with myself and my amazing quality and editing. All right, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's it, basically. But Sambi had a good game in the second half. We held it together, and to be honest, last season, in a game like that against Brighton, I know you know this, Taves, the team would have buckled, man. We would have crumbled. We would have definitely got put to the sword. This time out, we managed to scrape through because of their defence and because of Aaron Ramsdale's absolutely fantastic goalkeeping. I mean, this guy just gets better and better with every game. The goalie and the defence for me is decent. The midfield could do with a bit of improving. The forwards, I don't know what you thought about it, Stace, but you watched the game, I was watching your watch along on your channel, the 3 Pointers, with the 2 lads. What do you think for Aubameyang? I mean, he blows hot and cold. What's exactly going on? And Lacazette came on. He didn't have a kick. All right, it was a tough game to get into. But he came on for a reason, to put the ball in the net. He's a striker. All right, maybe the service wasn't there. But if I was him on every opportunity, Lacazette, I'd drop back into the midfield and take on the ball myself. If I'm not getting service up front, I'm going to drop off. I'm going to move back towards the midfield. Not too far, but I'm going to move towards the midfield and collect the ball myself. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to do a Saka on it. One thing on my mind, I'm going to burst forward. I think it was the right decision not to start Pepe. I agree with that. I mean, he's not been banging in the goals at all. He's creative enough. He gets a couple of shots away, but he doesn't have that killer instinct. For me, the club has to buy a striker, an out-and-out striker. I'm thinking of a guy along the lines of Didier Drogba and Alan Shearer. I'm going back a bit when I say Shearer, but players like that, I mean, absolute goal machines. The defence, they couldn't relax for a second against Alan Shearer. I mean, if they were caught napping for a second, he was in. I'm going back a long way. I'm the old school gunner. I'm going back a long time, guys. Alan Shearer for me, if we had a player like that, the opposition would be very careful when they're in possession in the back four. When they're taking a ball out of defence, they would not be committing too many players forward because you got a player like him up front. They give him a second, he's in. It's as simple as that. The ball's in the back of the net. We need somebody like that. We don't have a really good striker right now. We're struggling for goals. Goals win games, and we're just not doing it. That's how I see things. Yeah, what can I say about it? I mean, it is what it is. But the next two games at home, we really need to get stuck in. We need to push forward. Just going to put on another comment there from Stapes from the 3-pointers. Alba didn't do enough for me, but I worry about our midfield. They don't create enough for the forwards. No, they don't. And that was the thing as well. I saw like a couple of games ago, and even at the end of last season, Aubameyang was getting frustrated because there was absolutely no service coming into him. And when you're starved of service, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, look back to Messi. Okay, he's a midfielder, but against Barcelona, the team used to play to allow Messi to play his game. The team was suited to him. He had like a launching pad, a platform. They played for him. Aubameyang was getting very frustrated. There was no service coming into him. Absolutely nothing. And I can understand that. It's tough on him. They need to create the chances. I mean, Saka and Smith will do their best. But these are two young guys. I mean, they're very young. I mean to say, if anyone can go back now and think last season in the Europa League semi-final, when Villarreal taught us a lesson, when Unai Emery came back to haunt us, he came back from the dead almost, guys, to haunt us again. Unai Emery came back, respects to him, huh? He came back in the semi-final. Okay, the first leg in Spain, but at the Emirates, they really taught us a lesson. And I don't know if you remember that game, Staves, but they absolutely strangled the life out of our forwards. They strangled the life out of our midfield. I was at work in London at that time. I was living in London. Yeah? I was watching it with a Chelsea fan, of course, as you would have it, and they were flying high in the Champions League. We were watching the game, and I swear to God, he was just shaking his head. I mean, Arsenal was there was no chances at all. That was the game for me. That really made me wake up and look at things. Villarreal are seasoned professionals. They're a team of men out there. Fair enough. We had a couple of young guys in the team. Saka, Smith Rowe, they tried. Villarreal, they strangled the life out of us in the midfield and the forwards. There was nothing going on up to Aubameyang. Absolutely zero. Like you're saying, we don't create enough chances for the forwards. That was the game for me that will always stand out. That semi-final second leg against Villarreal. We were toothless. We had no ideas. Heartless, spiritless, soulless. And the quality was lacking big time. It was so easy for Villarreal. 2 banks of 4, and they just... You saw the game, I'm sure. You know what was going on. You've seen it. But it's the same thing like you're saying. They don't create enough chances for the forwards. Against Brighton, we created nothing, really. I mean, I think 6 chances to their 22s. Okay, 2 were on target. I think only 2 of theirs were on target. But they created 22 chances. I think we created 6. Luckily, we didn't get any players sent off. Luckily, that didn't happen. Because that would have really been the end of the game for us. And it would have a knock-on effect then, of course, with probably suspension for a couple of games. But, yeah, the creation in the midfield. I mean, we do have Odegaard, but he didn't really have a good game. At the back, we struggled. Tomiyasu had a tough time. He had his hands full. Odegaard didn't have a kick. Aubameyang wasn't in the game. Saka tried to get into the game. He tried to get going. I remember the second half chance where Partey got the ball and released Emile Smith-Rowe, and Saka was calling for it in the box. And maybe Smith-Rowe should have laid it off to him. That was really the first chance we had up to that point. I think that was like the 70th minute, 75th minute. So chances being created. That was the only one of note I can remember that actually looked like we could score. That was the only chance. We weathered the storm. We got through the game, and respects to the team. You know what I mean? They did well to get through the game, but I don't know. I don't know what you think about this, Stace, but I was talking about earlier. Do you think the team can get back into the top 4? All the guys out there watching, I see there's a lot of people watching at the moment. Do you believe we can get into the top 4? You think Mikel Arteta has what it takes to take us there? I honestly think if we get a better manager, I think it's a bit unfair, guys, on the younger players in the team. The Smith-Rowes, the Sakas, the Tierneys, the Odegaards, players with a lot of potential that if we have the right manager now, he can get the very best out of them. Only one team can win the league every season. I know that. I know football, I've been around the block, guys. Only one team can win the league every season. But I think if we have the likes of an Antonio Conte come in, he can do so much more. Proven winner. Time is of the essence here. I mean, we can't let a year or two go with Arteta as manager and the guy's just sliding along into mediocrity. We're going to lose them to other clubs if that's the case. We want to be successful. We want to challenge for the title. It's coming on close now, guys, to 18 years since we haven't won the league. 18 years, believe it or not. It's coming on to that now. It's coming on close. Next season is going to be 18 years. I mean to say, it's been so long already. And we're not even challenging. We're not even challenging. We're not even in Europe. I honestly think something drastic has to be done. And after the Spurs game, if you watched my posts, I was saying the same thing. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these fans that kind of like, I tell it like it is, guys. And just because we won the Spurs game, I was delighted with that win. And I was delighted for the fans. I was delighted for the players. I was delighted for them. And I was happy for Mikel Arteta because he's been under pressure. But he has to know he's bitten off more than he can chew. The job is too big for him. It's as simple as that. The players we have at the moment, we can get the very best of them. Saka is world class, in my opinion. Emile Smith-Rowe isn't far behind him. In Saka, we have a real gem. The defence is looking good. The goalie, it needs a bit of tinkering, but definitely a proven manager comes in, turn things around. Our opponents in 2 weeks' time, we have 2 games in a row in the league. 2 home games in a row. The first one is Palace, the second one is Villa. Of course, Arsenal legend, former player Patrick Vieira is now at Crystal Palace. When he became free and he made it obvious he wanted to come to manage in London, why didn't we go for him? It doesn't make any sense. I would have jumped at the chance to sign Patrick Vieira, and I'm not clutching at straws because we're desperate under Mikel Arteta. The guy has proven record. He's doing all right at Palace. He's doing grand. You know what I mean? He's doing better than Arteta, to be honest. In my opinion, he's only just started. He earned his Spurs. He got his first taste of it at New York City FC. That's what he was doing. He wanted to come to London. He didn't think about Arsenal. He is an Arsenal legend. Arteta is not an Arsenal legend. Why didn't we give him the job? It doesn't matter how long Mikel Arteta is there or what kind of process or project he's planning. Move him on out of it. Bring in Patrick Vieira. I hope and I pray maybe next season, and I keep thinking about this, I might have mentioned it a few times tapes already, down through the weeks here, but I hope that Patrick Vieira can become Arsenal manager. I would be very happy and I would support him 110%. I would not be Vieira out or any of that kind of crap. So I have a lot of respect for him, and he is a proven winner. He's got what it takes, in my opinion, and I've been impressed with him at Palace so far. They've been doing all right, and this is Premier League we're talking about here. It's the toughest league in the world. Make no mistake about it. I've been well impressed with Patrick Vieira. I think he's doing very well. But I don't know. The thing for us is to get back into Europe, Steve. So you think we can get back into Europe? All of you watching out there, I see there's a lot of people watching. You think we can get back into Europe? Comment in the comment section, guys. Let's get it going. It's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be very hard to qualify for Europe. But it's like a knock-on effect. We didn't do well last season. We didn't get into the places, the European qualification places, the automatic qualification. We didn't win the Europa League. We couldn't get back into Europe. It has a knock-on effect. A lot of the better players, like the Manuel Locatellis that we tried to sign, for example, from Sassuolo before he went to Juventus, he wanted Champions League football. If we had it, there was a better chance he would have come to Arsenal. In the end, I think the player wanted to stay in Italy anyway. He wanted to play for an Italian club because it would make it easier with his international career playing for Italy. But if we hit Champions League football, we could have got a certain quality player. I mean, Chelsea, they made one signing, they got Romelu Lukaku. They got Inter Milan's best player and their best forward. The second guy, we were meant to be going for him. Nothing about that. Right, just a comment there from James. Cheers, mate. I need to go. Great stream. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thanks for the compliment. I'm doing my best. I had a bit of a setback there at 1 p.m. with the internet issue. But I'm back in business now and I'm firing on all cylinders. Thanks for the comment, James. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you the next time, either here on my channel, on your own, or in Warren's. And take it easy, yeah? All the best. Take it easy. Go on, Everton. Having a good run, man. Up to 5th. They're doing well. Thanks for tuning in, James. I appreciate it. Take it easy, man. See you later. All right, guys. Simple as that. That's the way I see it going. Man, I would have given Patrick Vieira a chance to be manager without a doubt. Now in 2 weeks' time, we face them at the Emirates, Arsenal Palace. I mean, how do you see that game going? We need to win the next two home games. And I'm not one of these guys that say we need to win, we need to win, we need to win. It's a start we had. We lost three in a row. Okay, then we won three. Now we got the draw. But those three defeats at the start of the season, our confidence is back. We're back into it. The win against Spurs, it was rejuvenating. The team are back in the flow. The last deal wasn't the best game. It was a tough game, but we're getting back into it. But we need to win those two games now. We need to win those two home games. We at least need to take 4 out of 6 points, but we need to win the ball, in my opinion, to kind of progress up the league. If we're drawing and if we're losing, or if we win one and draw one, the team needs to go all out in those two games. And there's no excuses because they have a 2 week break. It's an international break for some of the players, but our defensive partnership in Gabriel and Ben White, they're not going to be going anywhere. They're not going to be leaving anywhere. They're going to be staying there. It's as simple as that. Just have a comment there from AFC Chavez. Welcome to the show, AFC Chavez. Arteta needs a good run of games or else he's gone. Simple as. I agree with you 110% on that. He needs a good run of games or he's out the door. It's as simple as that. I mean, we're not going to go where we need to go. We're not going to progress how we need to progress with the team playing the way they are. We need more goals. There's a real lack of goals in the team, and I'm blue in the face since I'm saying this. We needed to sign a striker in pre-season, an incredible striker. It didn't work out for us. They tried for Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan, but when they sold Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea, their best forward, they weren't going to let their other striker go. I mean, they weren't going to sell their two best players. That would have made no sense at all. So, to me, to be honest, I saw like last week, I think I saw Inter on TV. He's still at the club. He scored a cracking goal. He's an incredible player. If only he'd been able to get him, we would have been able to take us places. But there's a serious lack of goals in the team. And like Stapes on the 3 pointers was saying earlier, there's a serious lack of creation in the midfield. And that's where all the problems are stemming from. It's as simple as that. You can't sugarcoat it and you can't kind of just sweep over that or brush over it. It's like that. It's been tough. You know what I mean? It's not been easy. Simple as. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. Yeah. I mean, we need to get back into Europe. That's our main aim. If we can't back into Europe, what are we going to do? I'm just going to move on and talk about the Bernd Leno situation. For those of you out there that don't know, as you can see, guys, he's now well and truly second fiddle, second choice to the fantastic, inspirational Aaron Ramsdale. An incredible keeper. I know if you heard me saying inspirational about him, you probably started laughing. But that's the way he's been. His attitude and his ability in training and in the matches, not to be messed with, guys. Aaron Ramsdale is an amazing goalkeeper, and we're lucky to have him. People scoffed, they laughed at the transfer fee. Of course, there was talk about Emi Martinez. Why did we let him go? Which is a fair point. Why did they let him go? But the money we paid for Ramsdale, he's worth every penny, and he's proven that already. I mean, in 4 games, he's got 3 clean sheets. It took Bernd Leno 20 games to get 3 clean sheets. Of course, that's just not down to Ramsdale. The defence is also better. But he's an amazing keeper. He's head and shoulders above Bernd Leno in every facet of the goalkeeping game. His distribution, his saves, his reactions, his coolness. He doesn't make mistakes that often. Not like Leno, who's like an accident waiting to happen. Ramsdale is a fantastic goalkeeper. He will be number 1, I think, as long as he's at Arsenal. I can't see Bernd Leno getting his place back, to be honest. Unless, touch wood, like I said, there's an injury to Ramsdale. I hope to God, I pray that doesn't happen. Because we really need him right now. But yeah, what do you think about AFC Chavez? What do you think about the whole Bernd Leno situation? In January, do you think they should go full out or ring in a striker? Yeah, absolutely. 110%. We need a striker, without a doubt. They should go all out, full out, like you're saying, to sign a top-class striker. We need one desperately. The lack of goals in the team is alarming. I mean, how many chances did we create against Brighton? How many were on target? Aubameyang was AWOL. I mean, he didn't play well at all. We were up against it, fair enough. The press from Brighton was strangling the life out of the midfield and the forwards. It was very hard for them to kickstart. They found it very tough going. Odegaard never got into the game. Aubameyang never got into the game. Saka tried. Smith Rowe tried. They gave it everything. But the game against Brighton was a very hard game. Games like that, if we can get a goal, if we can get a win, if we can pick up the 3 points, that's why we need a top-class striker. We're not scoring enough goals. If we got a win away to Brighton, think of where we'd be now. The first 3 games we played, start of the season, catastrophic. I mean, the Brentford game was well within our reach to win that game, I think. The 2 games after it, okay, we played 2 very good teams, Chelsea and City. Who would I bring in? I like Chiesa at Juventus, I'm not going to lie. I like the way Italy played him. They didn't play him exactly in the full forward role. He was just behind he was like the second striker. But I like Chiesa at Juventus, the Italian player. Absolutely incredible. Say no more about it. Manuel Locatelli. Okay, he's also Italian, but I rate him very highly. Obviously, fanciful players. Jesus at Manchester City. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's an incredible forward. I'd love to see him at the club. We do have Gabriel Martinelli. I mean, with respects to Gabriel Martinelli, and with respects to the old boys, Lacazette and Aubameyang, but we do have Gabriel Martinelli, but he does not seem to be the player he was last season. Okay, he's not getting much playing time. He went over to the Olympics with Japan and won the gold medal. With Brazil and won the gold medal. But to be honest, I put a lot of faith in him. I don't know, it doesn't need to be happening for him. When he's played, he hasn't been at it. But I respect him a lot and I like him, but we definitely need to put money in. We need to put down a lot of cash and get a top-class player. You know what I mean? But I would go for Chiesa, without a doubt. I was massively impressed with him in the Euros. He's fearless. I mean, he put his body on the line. He really put it all on the line in that final against England. And also in the other games leading up to it. He's electrifying in the forwards. Incredible player. Yeah, big fan of his. Who else? Like I said, Jesus, but that's not really a possibility. He's at Manchester City. I mean, they're not going to let him go. But he's a player that caught my eye. I like Mane at Liverpool, but like I said, that's not going to happen. Who else is a good forward out there? Like I said, Locatelli. Martinez, Lautaro Martinez in Inter Milan. He is a fantastic player. I would love to see us sign him. But since Inter Milan let Lukaku go to Chelsea, they lost their best forward. They're not going to let their other great forward, Lautaro Martinez, go. That's just not going to happen. Simple as that. But I would go for Martinez without a shadow of a doubt. Fantastic player. It's a pity. It's just a pity the way things worked out like that, that we didn't get that player, Martinez for me, or Locatelli. Now we'd be reaping the benefits of that. Like, think of the players we had in the past. We had Thierry Henry, we had Nicola Anelka. I mean, even just the 2 of them to talk about. Robin Van Persie. We had Anelka, Henry, Van Persie. That's the level of striker we need. Bamford from Leeds. I like him. He's like a Ramsdale. People don't realise how good these guys are. He's a very good player, Bamford. That's a good point. He's a very good player. I've been impressed with him. When he plays for Leeds, he is a real threat. That's a very good point, AFC Chavez. I mean, it's like Ramsdale. We signed him from Sheffield United. Okay, they're not Premier League like Leeds, but people were like, Ramsdale who? 40 million for him. He's worth every penny. He's already paid it back. Bamford from Leeds, I agree with that. I think he's underrated. It's tougher at Leeds than it is at Arsenal. And still, he's making it happen in the forwards. Very good player. I would sign him at the drop of a hat. And that's the thing. We don't always need to look to the German leagues, the Italian leagues, the French league, or the Spanish league. There's a lot of talented players in England, whether it's Premier League or in the Championship. Players like Bamford. Players like Aaron Ramsdale. There's a lot of talented players out there. We'll have to see how it goes, but I would definitely sign Bamford, without a doubt. But what do you think, AFC Chavez? Let me know what you think. Do you think the team, Arteta, can take us into the top 4 this season? That he can get us into Champions League football? Let me know what you think about that. It's an interesting one. I mean, say no more about it. It's going to be tough for us. There's so much competition there at the moment. You have Everton, you have Brighton are up there, you have United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham. us getting into the top 4, it's going to take serious effort. Yeah, I've been happy with the defense. I've been happy with the goalkeeper, but definitely the midfield, we need a DM and we need an out-and-out striker. That's how I see things. If we can get a defensive midfielder and an out-and-out striker, I think we'll be doing all right. I don't know if you know this, but today is actually Thomas Rosicki's birthday. I was saying it there earlier. It's the birthday of the great man, Thomas Rosicki. What a player he was for the team. Fantastic player for the club. Fantastic international player. Czech players are very good on the ball, very technically gifted, and he was one of the best. A fantastic, fantastic player, an amazing player. I'm going to keep going for a while now, guys, but I'm just going to say, please smash the like in this video for me. Subscribe to my channel notes if you haven't already. Don't forget to turn on the notifications because I'm uploading a lot of content, like today, for example. You'll get notified when I'm uploading, so you can check it out if you want. Smash the notifications button for me, guys. Of course, comment in the comment section below this video and let me know what you think. I'm going to keep going for another while, guys, now, just letting you know about that. Yeah. Another comment there from AFC Chavez. I'm just going to put it up there, guys. I'd like to thank him for tuning in as well. Thank you for taking part in it. Thank you to everybody that tuned in today. There was a lot of people tuning in and watching. I see there's a good few people watching again. Personally, not this season. The best I think we get is 5 or 6. Yeah, at the very best. We had a bad start. Then we got it back on the rails a little bit with those 3 wins. Now we got a draw, but that's not the end of the world, really, because it could have been a lot worse. We were outplayed for a large part of that game, and Brighton is a very tough. Trust me, check out Brighton's games when they're home. Look at how City and Liverpool and United get on there, and Chelsea. It's going to be a tough place to go for any team. They're really good at home. They're very strong. Like I said, their second last game, Brighton's second last game, so their game before the Arsenal game, they played Palace and they drew 1-1. They got to go in the 95th minute. If they had won that game, they would have been top. It was as simple as that. If they won that game, they would have been top of the league. Say no more about it. But yeah, to get back to that, you think we'll be 5th or 6th? I have to agree with you. I think we'll be lower. I think 8th place. Maybe we can scrape into the top 6, but I think it's going to be very hard. I just, to be honest, I fear the other team that we have to face. I fear that we have to play Liverpool, even United. Manchester City and Chelsea did us with ease. I mean, they just pushed us aside. But to be fair, our defence wasn't really up to it at that point. It could have been worse. It is what it is. Not much more you can say about it. Yeah, it's like that, you know. It's going to be very, very tough to get back into the top places in Europe. It's going to be a real challenge. I mean, Everton are there, West Ham are there, Crystal Palace are there. I think it's going to be hard for us. But we need to get back into Europe. That should be Mikel Arteta's one aim this season. Get us back qualified for European football. We need it next season. We need it. The one thing we have in our favour this season is that we have no European football again. It's a negative and a positive. The positive is our players will be more rested. We don't have to travel around Europe. We don't have all those European games. But it's still going to be tough. It's still going to be a challenge. That's how I see things. It's going to be very, very hard. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm going to go through it there. I would like to thank Warren from Warren's Team Talk. I hope he's good. We know how things are going. I would like to thank James Dunlop for tuning in. I appreciate it. Everybody check out Warren's channel, Warren's Team Talk. James Dunlop, check out his channel. Drawn by Dre. Thank you for that comment, Drawn by Dre. Check out his channel, guys. Drawn by Dre if you haven't already. Stapes22. Check out his channel he has with his buddies, the 3 Pointers TV. And thank you as well to AFC Chavez for tuning in. I appreciate it. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your night, wherever you are in the world. Come on, you Gooners. Thank you very much to everybody for tuning in, and see you next time. Don't forget to smash the like in this video. Comment in the comment section below on the video. That's important. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, make sure to turn on the notification that you get notified of every video I upload. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you to AFC Chavez. And take it easy. Come on, you Gooners.